Hi, it's GadgetUK here again. This time I'm looking at a Commodore 64C. You can see someone's removed the ROM from this and they've made a total hash of it. I don't know how well it's going to come out there. Can you see the pin? They look burnt, and if you look on the underside, it's even worse. You know, you can tell they've just been absolutely incinerated. So someone set the soldering iron very high temperature, or maybe just not used a temperature controlled iron, and maybe put a 60-watt iron or something onto this. So total charcoal there. Pads have all gone on both sides by the looks of things. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is get some flux on there and use some solder and solder braid just to see if I can see what states those are in. I'll just heat over them gently with the iron on both sides and clean it up and just see what, if any, pads are remaining. Certainly all these down here are shot. They're absolutely shot. So there might be an awful lot of bridge wires on this. Yeah, anyway, I will report back in a minute. I'm considering scrapping this board actually. After cleaning up a little bit, let's see, get a bit closer. You can see the pads are shot. There's barely a pad left on it. There are a couple of pads at the top here, they're okay. That top one there on the ground, or whatever it is. But all of these down here, all the pads are missing. There's one at the bottom. They're pretty much all missing on that side. And the traces, let's see if I can get something to point with. The traces leading into these, as you can see, if you look at this bottom one here, it comes into the pad. That one doesn't go across actually. I don't think it does. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe it comes up here on this side. Sorry, it's hard to point because I've got two prongs on it. If you look at the one that's touching the PCB, it looks like there's a trace that comes down here to there, so it's cut. The pad's missing. Neither of those traces are going to be joined up, and it's the same all the way along. And the ones where you've got a trace in between pads, they've all got like little nicks and cuts and gaps and things. So there's an awful lot of work would need doing to this. I'd probably need to remove this ROM and then work out exactly which traces are severed that pass from one side to the other, and also work out which ones. They've all got, none of the pads are there. I just have to do mappings from the the destination over here, or the source rather, the address bus and data bus on the CPU, and have wires underneath, underneath the board, connected from the CPU to here, and then obviously to the ROM next to it as well for those ones that are broken that are not passing across. But look at the state; that's absolutely horrendous. I've never seen damage that bad before. Usually you can salvage something. Usually maybe you've got 2 or 3 pads missing, etc. But in this, in the case of this one, every single one of these pads is gone. There's one there. That's the one pad on that side. All of the others are gone, and it's like charcoal. They've absolutely incinerated the board. And that's something I learned recently. Actually, after watching one of GadgetUK's videos, he was saying that when you get this level of char, and usually from components overheating and stuff, like I think in his case it was on like a Sega power supply or something, when the board is that badly burnt, it's carbonised and it can be conductive. I don't think it would be in this case, but I don't know, maybe it would be. I might just test that with my meter, especially on this side here. Look at the state of that. And obviously some of the traces that run alongside here have been damaged. There's a gap there. There's also a few nicks and scratches and things as well. If I can try and show you here, if I can see it, it looks like there's a split. I don't think it is. It could be a split. It's almost got that sort of appearance, but certainly something looks like maybe it's gone across here. You can see it's gone quite deep there because it's gone a different colour. The PCB, it's gone white, but it seems to be all the way across here. I don't know. That's a crack. It looks like it could be an impact crack or something. I'm not sure. So I'd certainly need to check the connectivity on the traces that go there. I'm not too worried about that. I think that is a scratch. I just think someone's slipped with a screwdriver and gone over there, and the traces do look alright, although let's say it does look a little bit deeper on the PCB in the middle there. It goes right over here actually as well. Just realised it extends right across here as well. That's really strange. Maybe it is just a scratch. And similarly on this side here, something's scratched down there, so they all look like they're in good connectivity, but I don't know, I need to test it out. So I'm not sure. What I might just do anyway, out of interest, is power this up, because I think this is the kernel. Is it the kernel basic ROM that's missing? I think it is, and I think that's the character ROM. Can't quite remember which one's the one that's combined, because they have the larger chip and a smaller chip. And the larger one, it's got two of the ROMs merged together. But with certain cartridges, like possibly the dead test cart or a diagnostics cart, you might find it just boots anyway and goes into the test, and then it will fail on the respective ROMs, depending on whether there's any critical bus connectivity cut here that leads elsewhere. If it is just these ROMs and maybe this 6526 down here, it might actually boot, and that would then allow me to test out the VIC and the SID and various other things and just see whether there's any life in it. So I might just do that. I might just, in fact, I'll do that now. Connect it all up, and I'll show you what happens. So here we go. Connect it all up now. It's supported off the floor. This is Radar Rat Race. So as you can see, it looks like for the most part the system's okay. Yeah, that SID chip's not right. That SID chip's almost definitely not right, because it's red hot. I mean, absolutely red hot. So, you know, it's one of these. I think someone's been a bit of clever buggers and sold it faulty, but shipped it with a faulty SID on it. You know, why put a good SID on a board? I guess that's what they've been probably thinking when they shipped it out. They'll put a faulty one on it, and someone will perhaps think it's worth it just for the SID, which is what I thought. It really annoys me when people do things like that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because someone's probably took the ROM off here to do a Jiffy DOS mod or something. I can't think of any other reason why you would want to take the ROM off, unless that chip was red hot as well. Maybe it had two faults, maybe the kernel and that chip were hot, but it's quite unusual to get two faults like that in the same system. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that SID. I don't think that SID works. We'll test it. Some of these do get very hot anyway, so it could just be a case of this is one of the ones that gets really hot, but it's almost too hot to touch, and you don't tend to get that with the 8580. When I first powered it up, it made a bit of a humming noise, which made me think the SID chip was an issue. So I think the what I'm going to do next, I'm connect the keyboard, see if this game starts, see if we get any sound, and then I think I'll probably stick this SID chip in another system and test that. I'll perhaps show you in a minute, see if that's working. I'd be happy if that worked on its own, actually, but beyond that I think I might then just start desoldering chips. I don't think there's any value in keeping this PCB. I'll remove the connectors. I think I'll even remove the cartridge port on the modulator as well, and I'll remove all these connectors here, the choke, bridge rectifier, some of the transistors and things on here. I think there's one down here, isn't there? And then probably just ditch the board, really. I'll even take off the 74 logic as well, and these Scotty diodes. Caps I'm not worried about, I'll just throw the caps away, I can't be bothered with them. Keyboard connector, that might be useful. Anyway, I'll report back in a minute. Yeah, so as suspected, the SID's faulty as well, so yeah, I don't trust the guy who sold it, certainly not. I wouldn't buy anything else off him. Switch this on now. You can hear just nothing. No sound at all. I'll test it with a diagnostics cart. Be interested to see what it reports, if anything, with regards to the SID. It's going to say the SID's faulty anyway, because you get that unless you've got the loopbacks in there for the pot X and pot Y. But yeah, no sound. I'll just take that SID out and just put the other SID in. Just bear with me a minute. So this is with my working SID. Yeah, and we get sound. So just testing with the other VIC chip here, actually. This is the VIC chip off the donor board, and it seems to be working okay, so at least the VIC chip's alright. I do think that SID chip's been swapped deliberately. I think someone's known they were going to sell this and thought, sod it, I'll stick a dodgy SID in there. And I think the reason that that chip has been removed to start with is not because there was a fault with the kernel, but I think that someone wanted to do a Jiffy DOS mod or something similar, switchable ROM, switchable kernel, something along those lines. But I'll strip it down for parts now. I think there are some of the good parts on here. Just looking at the board, we should point you down. Value wise, I think I paid £15 in total. That included shipping. So yeah, there's a couple of 6526s, got a couple of CIAs. There's one on this side, one on this side here. So I'll remove those. Clock generator chip. They do fail those 8701s, and they can be pretty hard to find. So I'll test that. That's socketed on mine. I'll test that in a minute. So that's really useful because I don't have a spare of one of those. This sharp, is it P-dip or shrink dip? I think that I never remember. I always get confused between P-dip and shrink dip. It might be the same one and the same thing. But yeah, that could be a bit fiddly to remove. But I'm gonna have a go. I'll get my desoldering station onto it. I'm sure I can get that chip off there. I've never come across one of those fail yet. The nice thing with this one, this is the one with a separate RAM as well. Sorry, it's a separate SRAM there for the video. So yeah, that should hopefully work as well. That'll be a spare, but it also means that this PLA is useful. Moving forward, I guess. Some 74 logic I can reclaim back, a couple of RAM chips, and obviously the CPU 8500 on these ones. It's a shame, but yeah, I think the damage is just too far gone there. It is possible, you know, I could spend a number of hours to get this board back up and running, but I just don't see the point, because there's more, you know, there's going to be more boards available than actually, you know, complete systems and things. At some point you do need to start stripping boards down for spares. Now I've managed to repair every board I've attempted so far, and I'm sure I could repair this. I just don't see the point. I think the damage is, like I said, too far gone, and I think that you know, maybe if it had a SID, if the SID was working, that might have changed my my views on this. But I would need a SID to backfill that anyway. I mean, I could put a nano swin SID or something on there. Yeah, I just don't see the point, because like I said, there's always going to be systems that have some of these chips failing. Someone might need a CPU. That CPU is going to need to come off something, you know, in order to fix a system. The CIAs fail for fun, so it is useful to have a couple of spare CIAs. Incidentally, if you're watching Bewak, Hans, his videos, he's working on, he's looking at FPGA stuff at the moment. He's learning at the university, I think, how to program FPGAs. And that's one of the first things he's looked at, replacing the CIA with something in an FPGA. So he's only just started that, and obviously he's learning, so it's going to take some time, but he's making good progress. That's interesting. Yeah, what a shame. And I guess the sockets are useful as well, you know, and the power switch. It's actually got quite a good power switch on this one, so I'll pretty much remove everything off here. I might show you the board at the end, just so you can see what I've took off it. But then I think I'll just put the empty carcass in for recycling once I've removed everything. So just a quick update before I go here. You can see I managed to smash that 7.4 chip, but every other chip's come off here. No damage traces or anything. Even managed to get the PLA off. I will now remove these sockets and the bridge, and probably remove this connector and the choke as well. I just need to get me hot air, you know, not hot air, but desoldering station out, because it's a higher temperature controlled, in order to get some of these things off. That's why I've not done them. These I've just been a bit lazy. But as you can see, I've pretty much removed everything. I will remove the remaining caps as well. But yeah, that board has been stripped bare, and we've got a box full of components here, all good, no damaged legs or anything like that, all perfect. So chips and things on both sides here, PLA, VIC chip, ROM, RAM, supporting logic chips and stuff. I've got some bits on the other side there that I've forgotten about as well. I've got the, oh, there's the nano swin SID you've seen in a previous video there. That's a chip to go on an Atari Lynx flash card, I think. That's a test SID. It's that one I fixed with a broken pin that's got a dodgy filter, I think. But yeah, there's the VIC chip, I think. What's that one on that side then? No, that's the CPU. And as you can see, I removed all the sockets as well, switches, fuses, fuse holder, transistor for the tape, screws, diodes, the whole lot. Removed everything. Well, I almost forgot to talk about these bits as well. So I've got two CIAs there, and then all these other components here as well. The caps are probably bin, to be honest. I'll test them first. I need to get my ESR meter back, or perhaps get another new ESR meter. But yeah, even the sockets removed and stuff as well, and the pin header there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.